Hello. Before I talk about the second ending, I just wanna mention that I really like IS-4 and you should play it. It's better than both IS-2 and IS-3, in my opinion. Okay, I mostly wanna talk about the boss fight itself, but let's explain how to get there first. So after you beat the first ending, you go to the upgrades, you get the Lost and Found upgrade called Balanced Benefit. This spawns a node called Lost and Found. Second option on there, I think you need the first ending first. And then you get 2 runes. With these runes you can replace any node on the map with a special prophecy node that gives you an item you need to get the second ending. I recommend using this to replace a hard fight, so you don't have to do it, like so. Then obviously you get the item. And then, once you get to the final prophecy node, you click the second option, not the first one. That's where you pick between the first and second ending. And that's it. What's really awesome about it is that there's basically no RNG, because the Lost and Found node is guaranteed to spawn on the 3rd floor, upper lane specifically. The third ending works the same way but with a different node. I really like this system. Okay, moving on to the boss fight now. The boss fight itself is what motivated me to do this video, because this boss is kind of bullshit. I don't mean that they're hard, but if you don't know what their mechanic is, you are almost certainly going to die the first time no matter what squad you bring, simply because of how they work. So, since you can't check the mechanics before you fight them, we're just going to read through them here, and then I'll show a quick run of dealing with them with some random 4-star squad. So, every attack from them inflicts cold, and they have a cold aura, so anything they attack directly is frozen permanently. And they only have one skill called Self-Destruction. Goes into Self-Destruction whenever a certain percentage of health is lost. It's not stated here, but they only do it 3 times, so it's probably 75%, 50% and 25%. It stops attacking, movement speed is increased, becomes immune to bind and slow, and cannot be blocked. Takes greatly reduced physical and arts damage, and whenever he goes in or out of the mode, he inflicts cold on all operators. Now, being immune to bind and slow is annoying, and he cannot be blocked, so he can just run past all of your operators. You might think you can use some other kind of CC, but he's also immune to stun, frozen and sleep. He is not immune to being lifted up, so Irene can help with that, but there's a much simpler solution than requiring a specific 6 stars to fight him, or a specific relic item that gives you airborne in IS-4. Because he only runs a certain distance, we can simply block him early, and because his damage is very low, you just block him every time after he runs, and that ends the fight. If you don't know this is coming and he just runs past all your operators, he takes 30 lives, you're just dead. But if you know it's coming, it's very easy to deal with. And here's a 4-star run of it. This squad isn't set up specifically for the fight, it's just a random bunch of 8 operators that I reached the ending with. It is on relatively low difficulty 2 I think, but it works the same even on difficulty 15. I'm tanking him with Durner, not some hardcore defender, and I'm using Perfumer. There's the boss, he spawns after a wave of trash, and you can see he can't kill Durner with just Perfumer healing. I don't have a bunch of overpowered items or anything, the boss just does no damage. The rest of the stage is stuff that frees you, and some random elites. It has some whips near the end. Just make sure you don't have any DPS on the left. There are some trash mobs that Durner is blocking along at the boss, so the weebs walk right through her. You can also just use a 1-block. Again, the boss doesn't do much damage, you don't really need a strong defender. You could just use a better medic than Perfumer, and then literally anything can block him. More trash is spawning, we kind of just kill them with whatever, the trash doesn't matter, there's no way you die to that. Just throw random operators at it. And all the trash is done. There's 2 trash mobs left on him from earlier that let the weeps pass through. So now we DPS the boss until he loses a 4th of his health. Once that happens, he starts running like an idiot. There we go. We retreat the defender, and then we block him with something at the end of his path. You can pre-place the operators where the path ends. He runs about 5 tiles, or more like 6. This is easier if you have better bodies to throw at him, more bodies, medics, etc. I'm just using a bunch of random operators that I happen to have here. I kind of messed up here and didn't proc his dash, but I stalled enough for Durnar. So no big deal. The dude gets to run 2 more times. So it's not 25, 50 and 75. Probably 60, 40, 20 or something like that. Once he ran away from Durnar, we block him again. And again we just throw bodies. This is looking closer than it is because I just don't have very good bodies to work with. It is what it is. But we abuse it to make up the difference. And that's the final run. Hope that helps and saves you from losing a run to his throw mechanics.